Let's get physical. It's Jordan here, back again with this week's update on all the physical releases coming to the Nintendo Switch, February the 16th until the 20th. Let's see what we've got this week. Calamity Angel's Special Delivery is releasing this week on Switch, but also PS5 and the old warhorse itself, the PlayStation 4, that's getting a copy too. It is an RPG from Idea Factory and Compile Heart, and you know that when the gameplay trailer still has less gameplay than characters standing around talking, you are in for a Compile Heart time. In this game, you are a delivery service with a bunch of misfits as your party members. It looks super quirky, and I was down to give this a worth a purchase video. I do have a digital copy from the publisher, but the Chinese New Year may have put a spanner in the works of me actually having time to play it, but we'll see. It's coming in a standard edition as well as a collector's edition, and my executive producers, Miami Sunrise, Josh Foote, and Big Bruno have chosen this as their pick of the week. Castle of Heart Retold is a remake of an indie game that was already available on the Switch physically too. It wasn't very good in my opinion, and reviews for this remake are a bit average. I don't really know why they bothered doing this rather than make a new game, but if you're looking for a medieval side-scroller that likes to trap you, trick you, and challenge you, it might be one to play over an afternoon. At least it looks nice. They did a decent job with the revamped visuals. It's also on PlayStation 5, and my executive producer God of Resin has chosen this as his pick of the week. And if you want it or any of the retail games in this video, then please consider purchasing via the links down below in the description and pinned comment. That massively helps me out, this series, to keep producing useful physical content for you guys. VGP are a really nice company with free worldwide shipping on orders over 75 Canadian bucks, which is like 54 American dollars plus each week. If you buy something via my link, you are put into a draw to have a chance of winning a $10 discount coupon. And this week's winner is Brittany S. Congratulations, Brittany. You should get an email from the VGP with your discount coupon in the coming days. Thank you for your support. Death Match Love Comedy is releasing in Europe this week, and I believe only in Europe. There is no sign of a North American physical release. It will also be on PlayStation 5. This is a weird one because I've seen quite a few people excited for this to finally get an English language release for the first time ever. However, reviews from those who played it in Japanese are actually quite poor. It really is a bit of a mystery to me. It's from the same team and in the same setting as Raging Loop, which is a bit of a cult classic visual novel. This one obviously has more of a comedy flavor to it, and it'll be interesting in seeing where the reviews hit for English readers once the dust has settled. And my executive producers Kevin W, Ghost Bume, and G Bautista 100 have chosen this as their pick of the week. WiZmans World Re is releasing in Europe this week, at least it should be. In terms of North America, well, your edition got delayed until March, so you'll be waiting a little bit longer. This is a JRPG originally made for the Nintendo DS, but that stayed in Japan. This remake is the first time it's been released in English, and it looks pretty awesome all things considered. It does look like a slightly cheap 2D HD game from Square, but honestly, I think it works. Your character has 3 homunculi, which I'm not going to say anymore since that is an awful sounding word. What's wrong with monster or familiar? And there is a fusion aspect to make them even stronger. It looks really, really good. And my executive producers, John Jamin, D's Nuts, and Firm Returns have chosen this as their pick of the week. Death Howl is releasing physically this week on Nintendo Switch and PlayStation 5. Naturally, like any critically acclaimed indie game, it is a Souls-like deck builder. But hey, it's not a roguelike, it's got a proper campaign. Does anyone else feel a sense of relief? It's like an abscess bursting. Apparently, this is an open world game with 160 cards to build your deck with. It's got a very unique art style, and it is very well regarded with some very high review scores and user review scores across the board. This physical release also comes with a digital soundtrack, and my executive producer Michael Del Polito has chosen this as his pick of the week. UFO 50 is a really big release in my opinion. It's one I've been rather looking forward to trying. I love a good retro compilation, and this is like a fake retro compilation. It's Action 52, but if it was actually really good. A handful of game developers came together to create 50 8-bit style games to much aplomb. Not every game is like Super Mario Bros. 3 or anything, but the quality, so I'm told, is above average with every genre under the sun. Some games are short arcadey times, while others are more meaty experiences, and this seems like a really magical release that I will, one day, get down the line. It looks so good, and my executive producers Lewis K, Punky Dooster, Azrath, Super Ben Julio, Dane Wilkinson, Jake Vav, Viz, Adamantium, Brent McLean, Nerdy Sean, and Dave Huswaite have chosen this as their pick of the week. Bendy and the Ink Machine. What's going on? Firstly, this game released already. There is a version out there right now. You can buy it if you want to. Secondly, in 2 months, there's going to be a double pack that includes this game. What is going on? Why is there a brand new release of this game? Well, it's supposed to be enhanced. Apparently the original Switch port was quite poor and the game changed publisher, and this new version will be a better port, maybe? That still doesn't explain the upcoming double pack or the higher price than before, but hey, it's a thing and it is releasing this week. BlazBlue, Entropy Effect Cross X, I don't know. A quick mention to this, which is releasing this week in Europe after releasing physically in North America last week. Was it last week? Who knows about time these days? East 10 Proud Nordics is releasing on Nintendo Switch 2 this week as a game key. Boo! Alright, the low print limited pre-order releases. Grapple Dogs Cosmic Canines is Super Rare's latest Switch game, and it's one of 3 games they've got this week. Yeah, they've got 3 games in 1 week to celebrate their anniversary and celebrate their fattening bank accounts. The first Grapple Dog was done by them, and this is the sequel. It was even funded by Super Rare themselves. It is a fun little platform. It didn't do quite as well as the original in terms of digital sales, but critically, it did just as well. This has you grappling and swinging onto things, and there's some run and gun elements in there too. There will only be 3,000 copies made of this on Thursday, and my executive producers OGCIB and Kaba Clavacol have chosen this as their pick of the week. Tiny Terry's Turbo Trip is their second game this week, also available on Thursday, but this time with 4,000 copies available, and this is a very critically acclaimed game over on Steam, and it does look fantastic to be fair. It's an open world game filled with comedy, but unlike other sandbox games that may look similar, this appears to have like a proper purpose. Terry wants to launch himself into space using his car, and you need to go about upgrading it to fulfill that dream. It looks great. They're also doing a PlayStation 5 version of it if you want that, and my executive producer JCross7776 has chosen this as his pick of the week. Duck Detective, The Ghost of Glamping is their third and final game this week, and it's another game that they've done like the previous game for. They did the Secret Salami a few years back. Now it's The Ghost of Glamping, another well-regarded adventure detective game that plays exactly like the original. Literally nothing is different except there's a new story and case to solve. Very good, but also very short, so your mileage may vary for this one. 3,000 copies will be available on Thursday, and my executive producer, The Nemo6, has chosen this as his pick of the week. Prison City is Limited Run's first game this week, another well-regarded retro-style title published by RetroWare. I've actually played this one when I was helping Premium Edition games. Of course, they chose Limited Run over Premium Edition, and this is a really awesome game. Another very fun NES-style action game that you kind of remember playing back in the day. At least you think you do. It has difficulty spikes, but I think I completed it. It's been compared to Power Blade, which is on the NES, but I've not played that one. I just remember really enjoying this, aside from the intensely rubbish dialogue. But every game has rubbish dialogue these days, especially indie games, and my executive producers Instacritic and Mr. Awesome have chosen this as their pick of the week. Formation Z is Limited Run's second game this week, and it is a game that is going to be getting a retail release in Europe and Japan on Nintendo Switch 2, and it is their first distribution title rather than a numbered release. This is a remake of a supposedly classic game. It's a side-scrolling shmup that has you transforming between a flying ship and a walking mech, each with their own abilities and usages. They've added a bunch of stuff to this remake, and a $50 price tag. It's still going to be a bit steep, I think, but that's the reality we are in, having to put up with expensive Switch 2 cartridges. But then again, why is Mio just $30? Who knows? But my executive producer Dave Horworth has chosen this as his pick of the week. Darwin's Paradox is Limited Run's third game this week. What's going on? And this is another Nintendo Switch 2 physical release. This one was featured in Sony's State of Play, and it's from Konami, very weirdly. I don't know why they would publish a side-scrolling octopus stealth game. You've got As Your Dreams to remake. Why are you making an octopus game? Anyway, the game isn't out yet, but it has a demo if you want to try it for yourself. This is the kind of game that I think Limited Run should be doing, and hopefully it turns out alright. If it doesn't, and it comes out a bit crap, I'll be even more sad that As Your Dreams is still forgotten. but my executive producers, Justin PDC, Dead Bunny's YouTube, AMH, and Jimmy A. Guerrero have chosen this as their pick of the week. Arranger is Lost in Cult's latest pre-order. As with all their games, there's going to be a retail release in North America, but on their website they're going to be having a very boutique-style collector's edition, something you'd find in a fancy scarf shop that I'm too working class to be allowed into. This was considered to be an import-exclusive game, and I did think Limited Run were handling it, but maybe my wires got crossed with another game. Lost in Cult is handling this, and I know there's been some worry about their pre-order backlog. Well, the first bunch of games have been finished and are shipping very, very soon, like this month. And if you want the special perfume-scented edition, that's not guaranteed by the way, then you can get it exclusively from lostincult.co.uk. Yes, they are a UK website selling American copies. They even have a special cover variant for the standard edition, and my executive producers Sora Cat and Surfacing for Air have chosen this as their pick of the week. Alright, the import section, Play Asia territory. If you want to import anything from Play Asia, you can click my Play Asia link and get 5% off using the code Jordan2026. I want to highlight the fact that for 2 weeks, they have free worldwide shipping on orders over $88 American. So if you've been waiting for free shipping, now is the time to get your order in. There's not that much going on this week in terms of imports, but you know, there are plenty of other imports you may have in your wish list, so to speak. But anyways, what's releasing this week in Asia and Japan? Promise Mascot Agency is the only real import this week you may want to consider, and it's not even an exclusive since it is releasing in North America later this year thanks to Lost in Cult. So only import this if you don't want to wait any longer. It is a super quirky game that has you escorting mascots around to different events, and it's made by the same people who did Paradise Killer, so go in expecting that kind of weird but quality time. The Asian release will have English, but as I say, if you live in North America, you might as well wait for that version. But my executive producers, Joshua L, Cartoon Soren, Jennifer M, and Danielle O have chosen this as their pick of the week. Self-Loss is also releasing in Japan this week, but we have this in the West already. Before we get into the community spotlight, if you're new here or you're not normally the kind to do so, log in and hit that subscribe button, okay? It will be the best thing you do today to keep up with all the videos that I make. If you love physical video games, you want to be around this channel, okay? Alright, the community spotlight. They, my man in Japan, sent in this photo. I don't know if this is some sort of lo-fi protest against Dragon Quest, but it's safe to say the game sold extremely well and has been very popular as a release, and I heard the changes to it are mostly for the best. Surfacing for Air sent in this photo with the 2 Switch 2 releases from last week. Chromagun 2, sadly by the time I would have got a review code for it, it would have been a bit too late for me to fit it into my schedule, which is a shame. I would like to try it, but YouTube is a very, very fickle beast. Super Ben Julio sent in this photo, picking up a game that's always going super cheap, Karate Kid Street Rumble. I think there are a couple of these on the Switch and supposedly okay, not as awful as you'd think. Maybe, I don't know, let me know if I'm wrong about that. Sully sent in this photo, picking up a bunch of imports. Of course, Atelier Ryza DX Trilogy is an absolutely huge release. It even surprised me at how many people wanted those thighs. Never be surprised about the thighs, Jordan. Rob L sent in this photo, picking up a couple of Nicholas titles that I really wish were more widely available. Nicholas they just don't want your money. Nintendo Gamer Gal sent in this photo, picking up some recent Amiibo. I never really talk about Amiibo, I guess I just don't care for them personally, but I guess they are considered physical stuff, so would you like me to mention them whenever they're released or announced? Needless Dragon sent in this photo, picking up some Japanese editions. Honestly, with Mario, the Japanese one is a cheaper option, and having the Japanese text on the box art only makes it even more awesome. Miami Sunrise sent in this photo with the collector's edition of Miracle Snack Shop. Definitely one for fans of nicely drawn characters of a certain gender. Lewis K sent in this photo, picking up one of the super rare games that I've been very interested in recently, Cyrillim Ultimate. It looks like a very nice game. Justin PDC sent in this photo, picking up the Tetralogy pack from Japan. Once again, the Western release was cancelled. This is now an import exclusive, and VGP still have copies of it if you want it. Instacritic sent in this photo, picking up Nice Day for Fishing. There's something about pixelated, anime, skinny, but kinda muscular dudes that's just really off-putting to me. Or maybe that's my dad bod just getting a bit jealous, probably. G Bautista 100 sent in this photo with a very nice collection of the strategy RPG imports that you may not need all of them, but at least try one of them, okay? Occasionally, if you're lucky, Play Asia may drop one of them to like 25 bucks once in a while. Frank sent in this photo, picking up the Three Kingdoms Saga duology. Definitely a nice way to go if you don't own either of them already. Really nice fun games. Firm Return sent in this photo, picking up a lot of strategy goodness. I don't think any of them are regarded as like top tier, but I do have a soft spot for Langrissa. The classic artwork that you can choose in this game does things to me that I don't want to describe. These Nuts sent in this photo. Speaking of nuts, Saints Row is nuts, and playing this version on Switch 2 is like playing a whole new game thanks to the 60 frames per second. Dead Bunny's YouTube sent in this photo, picking up Centum, hoping that it's actually good. It's a very weird adventure game, the kind you should expect from Serenity Forge. They definitely have their pigeonhole in terms of games. Dave Horwath sent in this photo with an order from Play Asia. I'm just curious, how many more retro collections can Idea pump out? They bought the rights to like Telenet stuff and a couple of other companies, and at least they're doing stuff with them. I just wish more were in English and more readily available, not just limited run. Cartoon Soren sent in this photo, picking up Fear Effect. If you check Limited Run's website for the second game's pre-order, you will see that they have removed the artwork. I did point out that it looked a bit crap, but apparently it was made by AI, so they took it off and they're going to replace it with something else. Alright, let's have a roundup. McLaren, Twig E, Cressalac, Dabro 90, Gundam Base EX, or is it XE? I don't know. The Family OG, Burning Kitsune Mask, Matt Well, Steph M, Lindsay S, Axeru, Devil Angel, Red Rose Reaper, Olaf's Domain, Superman 2K. If you want to send in your pictures, the details are on the screen right now. Special thanks, as always, to my executive producers over on Patreon. Thank you so much for your support, plus you watching right now. Yes, if you watched all the way through, you're a legend too, okay? And I want to know who you are. So please leave me a UFO emoji in the comments in honor of UFO 50. Go watch some of my other videos. I got a lot of videos, almost one every day for you guys. So go check them out and have a fantastic day. Take care.